Good evening. Just this camera a little. That's better. Jeff Dawson. Dallas, Texas for a change. Yeah, it's a little humid, but anywhere. And for someone who's worked out in the field most of his life, I know what 90-degree plus heat. I was in Dallas, and I forgot what year it was, but on May 1st, it was 100 degrees. And we didn't see a break for, God, what was it, 60 or 70 days? It was horrible. Well, while the weather is good, the Texas Rangers are terrible. I just don't understand. I mean, when I get to the point where watching them has become painful, there's a problem. I had a choice today. I could watch the Oklahoma State Cowgirls team or the Ranger game because they were on at the same time, basically. I flip back and forth, but if I had to put a stop clock to it, I spent more time watching the girls play than the Rangers because it was just, okay, now what can they possibly do to lose? Fulton Nitwich started today. He couldn't get 4 innings, and he was gone with a 5-0 loss. It's just, you see moments of brilliance, and then you see this. He's good one day. He's like a roller coaster. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, Lyles has been solid. Dunning has been pretty good. Allard, well, they used Allard because Arihara went on the DL list, and Colby didn't fare too well in his start. And Gibson, he was doing okay. Then he went on the 10-day DL, and he's back off. And then when the starting pitching really does hang in there and keeps the game close, it's not one of two things happens. It's two things happen. The offense can't score and the bullpen can't hold. It's that easy. And it's pathetic. I don't live and die by the Texas Rangers. I learned that many, many years ago since I'm a solid Detroit Tigers fan. I can live with it. I can live without it. It is only a game, but it is fun to root for your team. But I'm not going to have this up and down all the time. Oh, they're great today and they're bad tomorrow, and they're great today and they're bad tomorrow, and then they have a bad streak, and then they're great for a streak. You know, I'll try and be calm, cool, and analytical. So what's wrong with the Texas Rangers? And I've thought about this, and I was reminded of one of the stories I heard of how many people work in their analytic department. 50. They have 50 people in analytics. Well, I'm going to fire every one of them. I'm going to shut it down for about 2 to 3 weeks. You know why? Because I don't see basic fundamental baseball from the Rangers. We have a hitting coach who, Luis Ortiz, I think his lifetime average was 226 in 4 years with 2 home runs and 26 RBIs. That's not my hitting coach. Not today, not to Little League guys. No way. That's the hitting coach for a professional baseball team. Let's think about that. He's gone. And Woody, I liked what you did in 19. I thought in 20, with only 60 games and a lineup that was 75% one-year contracts, well, let's bring all of our studs up. Let's bring the future of the Rangers up and play them this whole year and see what we have. And they didn't do that until the last month of the season. But this year, now, if Woody is the one responsible for the lineup card, then Chris Davis needs to pull him in and say, you're putting the wrong guys on the field. Now, if Woody is getting pressure from the front office on who to play and what games to play and all that, blah, 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 all right, I'm going to take Chris Davis and John Daniels out to the woodshed and beat the hell out of them. I have said this multiple times about Jose Trevino. He's not an experiment. He is your starting damn catcher. They're down 11-2. He comes in to pinch hit, and he hits the ball. Every time Jose has been called to perform a duty, he performs it brilliantly. Watching the Rangers lose that game 2 nights ago on a wild pitch by Martin, which God knows who called that, and Heim couldn't block it. I think Trevino would have had a better chance at it, and they lose on a wild pitch that probably could have been blocked. If Trevino's back there, this doesn't happen. Enough. And I'm trying to figure out, because Nate Lowe isn't hurt, but they had Culberson on first today. What the hell? I need to look at the lineup to see if Holt was at third. This experimentation, this is not spring training, girls, but it's turning into it rapidly. We're only 11 games out of first place, so we're done. Okay, the season's over, folks. We're done. It's just that simple. There is no way they are going to catch anybody. They couldn't catch my grandmother in a wheelchair going backwards right now. This is really pathetic. I don't get it. But this experimentation, this is ridiculous. And if I'm not mistaken, at least 13 or 14 other starters this year have 1-year contracts. What type of team are you building with 1-year contracts? I don't know. You know, in that scene with Moneyball with Art Howe, with Seymour who's playing Art Howe, well, you know what a 1-year contract means. Doesn't show a lot of confidence. And I'm seeing that. We saw it in 20. You know, I was very happy to see Corey Kluber come out and get a no-hitter against the Rangers, of all people, because he only pitched like 14 or 15 pitches in 2020, and his arm blew out, and he was out for the whole year, and now it's recovered, which is a really good thing, which goes to prove that, you know, you coaches that, I don't know who's telling you that you can recover from Tommy John surgery 100% in 1 year. It ain't working. Not on the grand scale. Yeah, Strasburg, he was an oddity. But everyone else that I've seen that has had this, it's about a 2-year process. But this Ranger team, man, we need to go back to the basics. We need to take those hitters and put a T in front of them and teach them how to swing again. Because the team batting average is like 238, which is 2 points above the current MLB average of 236. But as things warm up, which it has been cold across the country, folks, this has been an unusually cool spring starting into summer. Very cool. We ought to be sweating when we walk outside in June. That ain't happening. So I will contribute some of these slow starts on the batters to the cool weather. They haven't warmed up yet, but this month, let's see what happens. And the pitchers, you have to tip your hats to the pitchers for keeping the batting average this low. So why in the hell is MLB talking about penalizing the pitchers because the batters can't hit? That's a whole different topic for a whole different day. But that's not what's going on with the Rangers. They're just bad. Yet when I look at the lineup, and you look at the players, there's no reason these guys aren't hitting. Falefa, Solak, Adolis is doing his job. Gallo, we know what we're going to get with Gallo. A home run, one every 5 bats. He's going to hit 210, 215, which I really have a problem with. And I know the Yankees, there's talk that the Yankees are looking at him. We'll see what pans out there. But even if you're a New York Yankee fan, you want a guy who hits a home run one every 5 times a bat? That doesn't keep rallies going. But Joey is a very good right fielder. I take nothing away from that. Willie Calhoun, he is proving his worth. Nate Lowe, man, he was hot in March and he got a little cool in May. Holt and Culberson, you don't know. I've got to look up Guzman and see what his status is. See when he might be coming back. But that is a really good lineup. These guys can hit the ball. So why aren't they? And I also need to look up the hitting coach for the Rangers because I don't know what type of plan he's got for them, but it ain't working. It's not working. Kennedy's not hurt, and he was, when he came in and saved situations, he was brilliant. He was mowing them down. And last I checked, he wasn't on the injured reserve. I'll check again. But it's just a parade of I don't know what. I said this in 2020. I don't see a plan for the Rangers. I really don't. Yes, it's a long season. It's 162 games. We all know that. But 10 in a row, you've lost 10 in a row. We know streaks come and streaks go. But when you lose games the worst way possible, getting blown out. I mean, it was 11-2 today going to the top of the 9th. Wild pitch, anemic offense, poor bullpen. And then you look at the pitch selection they're having for the guys in the bullpen. That's pathetic. It really is. To be a Ranger or not to be? That is the question. And sadly, right now, I'm on the bubble. Hopefully, they can do something starting tomorrow night. Well, Tampa Bay's leading their division, the East Division. That's not going to be a cakewalk, and they've got the best winning percentage in the MLB. So we just say, okay, the Rangers are going to lose another 3 or 2 out of 3, and then they got the Giants coming into town, and the Giants started this back in May when they played, when the Rangers went out there and lost those 2, and then Houston swept them, and then they came home and they beat New York in the first game, and then just lost the next 3. Then they turn around and take 3 from the Astros, and from that point on, they just can't seem to buy a win. But I'm going back to the basics. I don't want to hear a word from those guys in the analytics department. I don't want to hear a bunch of crap statistics. We're going to wipe the chalkboard clear, and we're going to start back at square one. Gentlemen, this is a bat. This is a ball. The bat is used to hit the ball. Do you understand? I can't hear you. Do you understand? And now we're going to work on swinging the bat and hitting the ball from a tee. And we're going to get our swings back to being smooth and precise and fluid, because I'm not seeing that. And then we're going to move the ball around on the tee. We're going to change the elevations so your eye can see those elevations. And when we think you have figured that out, then we're going to get some live pitching out there. Not batting practice. We're going to get some live pitching. And we're going to see what you've learned. And then we're going to come up with a lineup that works. And that is the basics. It's when I coached and I had kids tell me they wanted to be a pitcher, I had one task for them. Take a catcher, go over, and throw 10 strikes. 8. They had to throw 8, excuse me. If they can't throw 8, they can't pitch. And they'd warm up. They'd go over there without me or an assistant standing on top of them, so they were nervous. They can just relax and throw the ball. They would come back. I'd look at the catcher. How many? 5. You're not a pitcher. How many? 6. You're not a pitcher. You want to be a pitcher, I'm going to tell you the same thing my coaches did when I was your age. You have to throw 100 balls a day. You have to work on your movement. You have to work on your release point. And when you can throw 8 out of 10 balls as strikes, we'll look at putting you on the mound. And that's what the Rangers need to do. It's time to go back to the basics and figure out what's going on. So Woody, Daniels, Davis, if you're listening, take note. The experiment of the hitting coach is done. Get someone in there who at least hit 250 or 255 and had at least 50 home runs and a couple of hundred RBIs in a 4-year career. That's not asking for too much, is it? And if it is, then y'all need to get a different damn job.